A new approach for a potential 2028 Democratic presidential candidate. New York Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez speaking with students Friday in Chicago on the state of the economy and politics, where she also addressed head-on what her political future may hold.
They assume that my ambition is a title or a seat. And my ambition is way bigger than that. My ambition is to change this country. But I make decisions by waking up in the morning, looking out the window, and observing the conditions of this country, and saying, what move or what decision can I make today that is going to get us closer to that future, stronger, faster, better than yesterday?
Let's bring in former Missouri State Representative and CEO of Pine Street Strategies, Don Calloway, Democratic strategist and author Jenna Arnold, and Republican strategist and MS Now political analyst Susan Del Percio. Hey, guys, glad to have you here. Jenna, I'm curious what you make of the way Ocasio-Cortez described her approach every day. Is this her way of pushing toward a presidential potential run, and is it effective?
I think it's effective because it entirely removes the finish line. I really like the language that she's using, where it sort of strips the idea of this meritocracy, political meritocracy-based game, where it's like, well, there's one final destination and it's the Oval Office. And what she's suggesting is that it's far beyond that. I even think if we would suggest that she's so focused on her legacy, I would say it's even more than that. It's almost poetic the way that she's suggesting it. And I'm not necessarily endorsing her as the candidate, but, you know, young voters are less interested in political celebrity and more interested in whether someone understands the scale of the structural problems. And I think suggesting the Oval isn't the destination is doing just that.
Susan, how do Republicans view AOC? I mean, in this economic environment and the growing inequality in the U.S., will her populist views appeal to voters outside of a progressive mindset? Could she count on any Republican or independent support in a general?
Well, that's a difficult question, Alex, mostly because if she did run in a primary, how far left would she be pushed? I mean, it's so important to remember that the representative was elected 10 years ago, more than 10 years ago. She has grown into this role at a tremendous rate, and she's yet been able to still keep herself fresh and new to younger voters, and her ideas are out there. I agree with Jenna. She did a great job answering that question. She's a formidable woman, and I think Republicans would be making a big mistake to just, say, no way. But again, how far left would she be pushed in a primary is the question.
Yeah, that's a good question there. But Dawn, timing-wise, yes, she was elected 10 years ago now, but is 2028 too soon for Ocasio-Cortez? Could she have even broader appeal, potentially launching, let's say, from a Senate spot before running for president?
Well, I think that one thing we've seen over the course of the last 20 years is that people's political timelines have been dramatically compressed. If you can grab as much attention from the American electorate as Representative Ocasio-Cortez can, then you're a legitimate person to talk about beginning to give it a shot. I just want to echo what my colleague said a moment ago. This person has dramatically matured into somebody who is a legitimate contributing member of Congress. She's not a junior member by any fashion. You don't hear her talking about the squad. So she's grown into a person who can absolutely claim her share to legitimately be on that primary stage. Now, if she's someone who we're going to elect, all of that remains unclear. But she is certainly a person who has grown into a politician who is a legitimate contender for 2028. But more importantly, she's built herself into one who is building a life of national consequence. And I think you heard her explaining that there in Chicago. And when you do that, perhaps the presidency is a path, but perhaps it's the Ted Kennedy path of one who has extraordinary influence from the left for generations to come. This is a remarkable politician we're watching develop in front of us.
So, Dawn, we heard former Vice President Harris slamming President Trump over the war in Iran. Let's watch that.
I'm not going to dismiss him as being an idiot. He's dangerous. Yes. He's dangerous. And America's security and prosperity are in the hands and on the line. He talked about obliterating, and then he said, oh, he did. It's all just
is her role leading up to the midterms and then beyond in a potential 2028 run? Is she the current leader for the party, as polls seem to indicate right now?
I don't think anyone is the current leader. Like I said, I think that she is one of a very short list of people who has already earned their spot on the stage in 2028. So she can legitimately compete for the nomination, and nobody can make a strange face if she announces that. Right now, I think her role is to speak truth to power, continue stirring the pot while selling her book. Remember, she's on a book tour, which gives her this kind of parallel opportunity to promote herself. And of course, promoting herself is, in fact, promoting her candidacy. But, you know, I don't think that anyone's the clear leader. I think there are several people who have grabbed just enough of the leftist constituency to call themselves serious primary contenders. And a lot of that is there are only a few people who have the money to be able to make those arguments and grab that share of pie, if you will. But I still think that there is a yearning, whether in 28 or 32, for the nominee and the flag bearer to come from somewhere outside of the traditional political avenues.
Okay, but Susan, what does Harris need to do differently if she runs? Does she even need to change much, considering she got within 2 percentage points in the popular vote with only 107 days to campaign?
For right now, Alex, she just has to say that she can't turn down the opportunity, so she leaves people speculating. Well, Don's right. She's earned her right to be on the stage, but she's not. I don't think she'll end up there. She's not going to be, I don't think, a challenger in 2028 against a Republican candidate. She won't make it through a primary. She won't be able to raise the money. And that's why she has to keep going strong now, because, again, the first test will be, if she does announce, how much money has she raised? And she can't go down unless she is the overwhelming nominee and showing all that strength. She can't risk losing her frontrunner status. So I think she goes right up to that edge, for another year or so, and then pulls back.
Well, Jenna, the DNC may challenge Susan's thinking there, because it is reported that it is boosting Harris for 2028, despite not releasing that autopsy report from 2024. And Harris says she's okay with the DNC putting it out there. So why haven't we seen it? What could be so harmful? And hasn't there been enough time to fix any mistakes with just a different approach?
There is so many mistakes that do need to be fixed from 2024, but I do not put those at the feet of Kamala Harris. This is not something that was on her list of things to do. She should have been handed the keys to a Lamborghini that was, full of gas and already turned on with the seat warmers included. She was handed, a Honda that was from 25 years ago, and she had to drive stick. It was just really terrible analogies on my part, but it was really not a machine that she could engage with. I mean, the efforts on the ground in swing counties were largely carried by local folks with no help from the DNC. And I believe that the electorate has evolved much faster than the Democratic Party, which is why we can only center candidates that have really authentic voices, folks like AOC. Again, I think it's far too early to be talking about presidential. I understand why you are and why we will be. But we really have to be talking about what it is that we're going to be doing in our own communities, in our own lives. And it is not a savior-based candidate that is going to come in and solve this problem for us. We are going to have these conversations, these uncomfortable conversations with our friends, with our family members. It is on us again, not the DNC.
I tell you, Don and Jenna and Susan, I'm so glad you guys are with me on this journey. I love our weekend conversation, so I'll see you in the next one.
Happy Mother's Day,
Thank
Alex.
you. Oh, thank you so much.
Happy Mother's
Day. To you, Happy Mother's Day if you're a mother or if you're celebrating your mother. It's all good. Thank you, guys.